already lost a third of the audience. We haven't even done anything yet.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Prep Talk Live, everybody. It's episode 98. I'm Casey with Cascadia Dispatch. Joining me this weekend, you might not recognize the Preppy Prepper.
The Preppy Prepper, yeah.
But that is what we're going with. He's a very fancy tonight.
Preppers are supposed to be all in camo and tactical Molly weapon. This is a Molly. This is a Kevlar lined sports jacket and with Molly weapon and attachments. So.
This is like gray man for like the investment banking district or something like that. Is what we've got going on here. This is Occupy Wall Street, but no one's watching. Sort of a look going on here. I think. Well, welcome back, everybody. The Urban Preppers here. So we're already off to a better start than we have been for the last few weeks. It's been crazy, ladies and gentlemen. It's been crazy. How are you, Chuck?
Yeah, I'm doing. I'm tired, but I'm doing pretty good. It's just been really crazy. I apologize for being MIA. It's just been like nonstop work until midnight type stuff at work, and then going home, sleeping, and going right back at it. So we're just working on I do computer type stuff. Yeah, the nerds are back at it.
Yeah, ATF waited literally 48 seconds to just start in on everything. So
I work in software engineering, so we're just doing a big launch, and it's been just been a little crazy. So it's been 100% allocation.
Yeah. No, I was telling everyone last week because we hadn't been on for like 2 weeks.
You're like, well, I have no idea where Cliff's at.
Literally, we're holding on to an audience by just our fingernails at this point. Like literally, like people just show up, almost betting it's just for the chat room because they don't expect us to even be here at this point. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna come on. Maybe Cliff will be here, maybe he won't. But I had stuff going on. We've got kids starting school, so like the last month. While we envisioned it, hopefully, as a very clear reentry into our Wednesday afternoons, it has been anything but that for both of us.
Yeah.
So we're still trying. We're still here. We haven't left. We haven't split. There's no real Prepper story yet.
Start some kind of controversy, like they have legal issues going on, and they're battling it out about something.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go live on TikTok later, and I'll divulge Tup exposed.
Yes,
actually,
that'll be a good one.
That would be the only prep game. That would not be TikTok. That would be.
But it's crazy with the nice, dressing up nice and stuff. I meet so many like secret preppers, where they're dressed like this, and you would never think that they have an EDC on them. So.
Yeah, it is amazing, I think, to think about that. About the, initially, before you get into prepping, you're like, oh, nobody does, or they live in the woods in camo all the time. And then you get into it, and you kind of go through that period where you're like, oh, this is all of the stuff. And then you realize that there are actually a lot of out and about in the world, and it's a whole wide spectrum at that point.
Yeah. But it's been definitely a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world for sure. With like I've had a lot of people reach out to me with a lot of the natural disaster. I know I think that's the topic for this one, but it's been this is where the preps definitely come to play. So it'd be cool to see how thoughts on that.
Jack said it sounds like I'm talking into a tube from the next room.
You're a little bit. I thought it was just a me thing, but it looks like it's
all right. If I get a little more like this, is this better? I moved my microphone earlier today, and so I don't know if it's just the positioning or if I hit a button.
I don't know. So, I have my help desk prepper help desk headset on, so hopefully it sounds okay.
You do. You always sound fantastic. For like the style of the microphone visually, I don't know that it actually makes my voice sound good at all. So we may need to go.
I'm in my prepper call center right now, and it's very.
Call center.
It'd be kind of cool to have where you have like a 1-800 prepper, and like, hey, this is.
Sorry, I have to buy that.
How can I help you today?
I have to buy that domain name right now. Hold on one sec. We'll get
prepper
right back.
Call center.
Yeah, 1-800 prepper. Yeah, I feel like that's a win. That's.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. Okay, we'll get the teams working on that along with the 38,000 other ideas that we come up on the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, so obviously there is a litany of things going on in the world right now
Yeah.
that are just all over. I've seen. We were talking last week. Sutton's Days has like a countdown to chaos, which is like to the election, and so she's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Um, we just had Hurricane Helene, where Milton is landing like literally any minute. I think at this point, um, we've had we haven't even hit winter yet. Like we're not into snowstorms and all of that, but who knows what's going to happen. There's a lot of things happening in the world which are a bit
Yeah.
uncertain at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's just it seems like there's a lot. How are you how are you prioritizing? Like, what are you going through in this?
Well, I don't, not a. I mean, I'm not in Florida or anything, so like, but I have friends over there, so I'm actually talking with them on some of their preps and some of the stuff that they're doing for election type stuff. I have. I'm just checking on my the preps I've already put into place in the years past, and like I have my plywood boards ready to go for windows and doors and other security type measures and ensuring that that's good. It's kind of like just double checking the stuff. But I think for someone that's just starting off, it's probably, oh, where do I start type thing, and it always falls back to food and water for the most part, and medical stuff. That's one of the ones I should probably, now that I think about it, I should probably top off. This is kind of like I think I used to do like videos called top off your preps type stuff. So it's like this is probably a top off my medical ones and make sure I have prescriptions and stuff for a little bit.
Yeah, because it also looked like for a minute there we were also going to have like a shipping dock strike
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
shortage thing, which was kind of interesting. Did you see the different like TV news things that came out? It was like, don't hoard toilet paper. We make it here.
Oh no, I didn't see that. They're trying to avoid
So yeah, they were trying to
2020.
avoid shortages. So they were like, bananas might be a problem. Like, what is special to each of the East Coast ports? Because the West Coast ports were still
Yeah.
operational and everything here. But they were like, toilet paper, don't go out and buy all of it because we make it here, and so it doesn't have to come in through a port. It just
Yeah.
is going to get to your shelf. So I thought that was really kind of interesting. Of even though we don't expect a lot of prepping things to permeate general culture, like especially from the pandemic and everything, when there were shortages and people
Yeah.
were trying to find all these things, like I think everyone still remembers what that was like nationally, and so it
Yeah,
becomes
you kind of have a little PTSD of like of
mm-hmm.
during that time, like the feeling of going to the grocery store and seeing it, and oh, like what do I do? And I think there's a lot of that where people are when as soon as they get that kind of feeling again, they immediately go into kind of reflex mode. Ever with the toilet paper stuff, I've been even though my wife ridicules me about it. We're stocked up on our portable bidets and all those kind of things. So even if we
Mm-hmm.
run out, we're freshly cleaned.
Well, as you would want to,
Yeah,
as you should. Yeah, I think the top off. One of the things that I think was aware of, but hadn't really put in some of the stories that I'm hearing coming out of like North Carolina and things like that.
hmm
Um, were around. We talk a lot about have some cash on hand, have some cash at your house, have some cash because you never know. And I think a lot of us feel like, oh, there will always be some electronic card, some we'll be able to get by. But the
yeah,
number of stories I've seen of people who in those areas didn't have Wi-Fi, didn't have cell service, didn't have phone lines, and were trying to get gas and didn't have either enough cash to get gas to get out, um, or were didn't have cash to even get the gas that was there or whatever.
yeah,
So that's another thing I think that I've kind of put up on the prepping measuring list of things
yeah.
is enough cash to make sure that you can get a full tank of gas on your way out of town, or maybe two tanks of gas on your way out of town if you're trying to get to depending on how far you actually need to get.
Yeah, I'm going back over to the gas station probably tomorrow morning to. I've been flushing out my NATO gas cans and getting
Hmm.
those ready to go just in case. My
Just in case.
my son, he's been. I told you how he's got a like a hard money loan shark. Have I told you
He
that?
does. He
Yes.
does. I'm very proud of him.
And he's
Yeah.
still his business is still in operation. Super high interest rates. It's like 20%. But
Yep.
I was like,
Mhm.
how much cash do you have? And because I didn't know, and he has too much cash for like a 14-year-old to have. Like, I'm like, you're gonna get robbed. But so I'm like, well, we should invest that or something. But now with all these, when you see these natural disasters, I'm like, maybe we should hang on to that just in case type stuff. So I'm trying to figure out a better, uh, a safe way of for him to store that and keep up his business.
Uh, yeah. So one of the things that we did, because our kids get cash for birthdays or for
Yeah,
working or for a variety of things, and we have found, uh, we found early on that like having babysitting money, having money to pay kids that are doing jobs around the house, like whatever, like having that kind of cash available in the right denominations is always tricky. And we ended up having to like go to the bank and you get some money in fives and tens, so you've got it for that sort of stuff. Now what we do is when the kids get money, they have their envelopes, they have their savings
yeah.
envelope and their spending envelope, and so whatever they put in their savings envelope at a certain point, we will just basically give them the option to take that cash, put it in our safe, and then electronically transfer money into their bank account. So they
Okay.
can see in their bank account that they've got it. We save ourselves a trip from going to the bank to deposit their money, but
Oh, okay.
also we save ourselves a trip having to go to the bank to get cash. And it kind of becomes a multi input to having cash on hand sort of an idea.
That's a great idea.
Um,
Maybe I
yeah.
maybe I need to explore that then.
Yeah, it just makes it, I think it makes it easier. And we still take them to the bank every once in a while so they get in the habit of, speaking with a teller and having those interactions. But, um, when that money comes in, to your point, like they can build up quite an amount of money. And you're like, how did
Yeah.
you end up with
Yeah, it's
all
like
of this cash?
when you don't have to spend money on food and lodge and room and board and bills and stuff. Yeah, I guess you could acquire it pretty over time. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that
Well, then
idea.
we
I
also,
think I'm gonna steal that idea.
well, we got our son has a debit card now, and so when he's buying something, if he's doing, he's buying Fortnite something, or he's buying something on Amazon that he wants or something, he has his debit card that's tied to his checking account, so he can just buy it all. He doesn't even need cash anymore. He just
Yeah.
is using it electronically. So even the cash that he has at home, he's not really utilizing because he actually prefers it. He's like, oh yeah, can you just transfer the cash into my account so that I can, order something from Target
Yeah.
or whatever he wants to do.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Cash is king in these kind of
Yeah.
situations, and no matter what people say, and uh, yeah, so I was always inspired by I don't know, Doc Brown and Back to the Future 2, where he had that suit. I
Hmm.
don't know if you remember that, where he had that suitcase with he had the currencies for different countries and different decades and stuff. And I was like, oh man,
Hmm.
that's pretty cool. That would be a cool prepper thing. Like if you had as a
Yeah.
prepper, kind of like almost John Wick style, where you have your suitcase with your ones, fives, tens, fifties, hundreds, and your gold and your like and or your pesos and whatever else that you need to Canadian dollars and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of
I think that would be super cool. I think
yeah.
the tricky thing is
Where to store that? That's a lot of
exactly, it's the security factor. And I hadn't really thought about, now that you mentioned it,
yes.
things like
It's kind of a we
euros.
brainstorm here. Yeah.
Yeah, like not necessarily all of the money that's ever existed, but like maybe some Canadian money, maybe some pesos, maybe some euros. I mean, thinking
Yeah.
about the places that you might theoretically end up and need to kind of get established or something.
Yeah, I'm
That could
curious
be
what foreign because that's I mean I don't have preps for like I don't have a big peso collection or euros or yen or anything, but I kind of makes sense. Like
Danish
uh
kroners. You're
yeah,
not planning on fleeing to. Canada.
Well, I think if you were to do it, like if us in the U.S., because I know a lot of people probably
Mhm.
watch from all around the world, but yeah, yeah, of course you want to have your USDs, but you probably want to have Mexican currency, Canadian currency, and then maybe one on each side of the ocean, maybe a euro and yen. Then I guess would be
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
see
I think
that. Yeah, and then it's a matter of how much can you really do on that, but
yeah. The tricky part is when you're thinking about that. Initially, I literally just forgot that Japan existed, and so I was thinking, oh, well, if you go to the other side, you're talking about China or Russia. I don't know that like those are places that I would be
yeah,
evacuating to,
that might not be
but
bug out
Japan would make
locations.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Japan could make sense depending on what the thing is. If you were going west as opposed to flying, all the way
yeah.
across. I wonder though, Japan versus Australia, maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question.
You'd have to look at like the distances and things like that.
Yeah, but
Only because
maybe
Australia's
someday,
a little.
I'll make that Doc Brown mini suitcase with.
I think that's a great idea.
I like it.
Um, yeah.
I like
Well,
how many great ideas and great video ideas that we do that we don't have time to, to crank out.
who needs AI when you can just watch our show and then take all of the ideas and make a
Yeah,
whole channel?
yeah.
Like, what we really need is those AI video makers where you put in the thing and it actually generates like the non-face video
We should.
and do
Yeah,
it that way.
we should just record. We should record. We'll export these live streams over to an audio file. We'll translate it to text. We'll copy that into ChatGPT. We'll have it come up with a
Mm-hmm.
script, and then feed that into a video generator one, and it'll create it. And eventually, you and I will just be like Max Headroom, and we'll just be like these talking AI bots. That will,
Well, and what we can do is we can take our voices and
yeah,
put them into an AI so they'll learn our voices, so it'll
yeah.
actually sound like us. It just won't
And
actually be us.
we could train the models with like we have a lot of videos like you could technically import all of those in and how would what would they actually say or how would they phrase it and stuff. I'm sure it'd probably be pretty close to the
I
real
feel like
thing.
it would be like you would have all of these great ideas, and mine would just be like T-shirt ideas. It would just, my AI would just be like, "Oh, hey, here's a T-shirt idea. Here's a
Yeah,
like." You would be like, "So John Wick suitcase, but
yes,
T-shirts." I'm talking about, yeah, that would be
I
it.
might try that
And
like for this talk that we're talking here, just like it uh we're off the rails here. Oh, okay, so Jack got us back on track. He's
hold on, Jack. Are you a new visitor? Are
this is
you like
nothing new, right?
we're rarely on the rails. Like we've been more on the rails so far than most of the times that we're ever on.
Well, we're talking
Um,
about currency for and natural disasters and like the
exactly.
exchange rates for that, but then
That's
also
our
about we went down the AI rabbit hole.
that's part
Uh,
of our charm, though.
yeah, I
Like,
like to make a PDF and a show and tell box of other countries' currency. Yeah, I like that.
yeah,
And there would
I,
definitely be a PDF for that.
yeah, oh, 100%,
I just don't
100%.
know how much you should have. Like how much pesos do you really need, like for emergency?
Well, so the other thing that was as you were saying this, and I was thinking to myself, um, part of the issue is that like when you put money into other currencies, you're a little bit at the mercy of the exchange rate. And so,
Yeah,
like, if you've been watching like what's been going on with Bank of Japan, like, there's been all kinds of issues if you had, if you were doing dollars and yen currency conversions and all of that sort of stuff.
yeah,
Um, so putting money into a foreign currency is, from an investment standpoint, a little bit of a tricky thing because you might lose a bunch of value depending on what's going on. But also in those areas, the cost of living is potentially significantly less. So, like when you go to Mexico, the cost of things there is significantly less, from what I understand.
yeah.
I haven't looked at the latest stats. Don't come at me with details, bro. But like, from what I know from people who go there regularly, like the cost of things is significantly less there. I know that like the exchange rate in Canada is less. So you get more up there than you would here. The euro tends to be pretty close to even, although like depending on what country you're in, I think that might make a difference as far as like cost of living stuff. Um,
These are things
but yeah,
we'll have to research a little bit.
it sounds like a spreadsheet.
And
It
Jack
sounds
has a good.
like
Jack says I can't imagine anyone in Mexico turning down USD. Yeah, I think they're right.
Yes. And I don't think they would. The question is, would you get as much value for your USD as you would for pesos, for
Yeah.
example? And then what is the exchange rate on the peso? Because a lot of watching a lot of videos, we were talking about the CIA guy. I don't remember
Yeah.
his name, but he was talking about that the U.S. dollar is what you want to have anywhere you go because it has additional intrinsic value to local merchants and things like that.
Yeah.
But because of that, like, are you spending more actually by using USD than if you were using the local currency, for
Yeah. And ever since we talked about that dude's been appearing on my
example?
the algorithms have picked that up, and now it's on my TikTok all the time. So
hmm
it's
Yeah.
this thing.
There's all kinds of. I mean, some of the things that he comes up with, I'm like, I don't know. But it's a few things I'm like, I hadn't thought of that.
I saw
That's kind of interesting.
Lori says they never stay on subject.
Yeah,
It's just kind of a stream of prepping consciousness, and we go to different. But see,
we
I don't get to
actually
talk.
had a topic tonight. We had a
Yeah, I thought
topic. We
we did pretty
actually
good.
hit that topic.
We
A
hit it.
lot of times we have thumbnails and topics, and we don't even go near them. Like, I feel like I need to go back and rename episodes
Yeah,
because we just went completely in
never
other
talk.
directions.
But I feel like in my day to day life, like at work, and I don't get to talk about this kind of stuff with anyone else because they're not interested unless you're a prepper. So like sometimes when we finally get to we talk, it's like, oh, okay, let's talk about these things that my wife will not talk to me about, or any of my friends and family. And unfortunately, sometimes it's a stream of consciousness for listeners, but hopefully they're entertained.
Yeah. Have you seen the speaking of currencies and things? Have you seen the gold and silver at Costco yet?
No, I haven't. I think we talked about it before, right?
Yeah,
that was available.
yeah. So I had been talking about it. I've I bought a few things from there. But I've had a couple of people in the last week or so, especially with some of the international stuff that's going on and some of the things that have happened in the markets, um, tell me that they've been now circulating on Costco.com and at Costco warehouses looking for the different bullion that they have there and gold bars and that sort of thing, to kind of prop up and have, as a just in case sort of a thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of tricky to have like gold and silver as planning on using it as like any sort of currency, really. But you
Yeah,
know,
it's kind of like to protect against like economic crash type stuff because like you've
yeah,
seen there's a bunch of videos online where that someone's like, hey, would you want this gold coin or would you rather have this box of candy bars, and they'll take the box of candy bars. So it's
exactly. Would you like
or
this
something like
gold bar or $40? I'll take
yes,
$40. Okay,
yeah.
great. Yeah,
So then, like in an emergency, it'd probably be something similar to that. So you might not get what you. That's why I think that's why a lot of preppers gravitate towards the silver stuff. But I
yeah,
would think that like most people that I know that aren't preppers, I don't think that they would want the silver. Like I gave it to my niece and nephew for like Christmas one year. I'm like, hey, here's some silver bullion and stuff, and I was thought it was cool, and they're like, oh, okay, and I'm sure they probably
they were
it
like,
has
"What
no
is this
value to them.
token?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
what is
this
this
is
arcade token?"
yeah,
Um, yeah, which is that's an interesting thing when we talk about like sizing and things, because when you're talking about like an ounce of gold versus like a tenth of an ounce, because you were talking the other day or whatever your famous lost gold, where you
yeah.
had the tenth piece.
I'm still
There's a
looking
lot
for it.
of companies like Acre and there's a few others. I think AppMex has a
Yep.
gold like a bullion club where you kind of put in a certain amount every month and then they send you like
Yeah,
5
I
or
used to do
whatever
that
it
with
is.
a company called Silver Saver, but yeah, it sounds like there's
Yeah.
other ones.
But the thing that gets me about it, that drives me nuts, is I feel like the 1/10 is like the better usable denomination. It's the better
Yeah,
amount to use. You don't want to have, but like
the
the
markup.
premium on a tenth versus an ounce
Yeah,
is so much
crazy.
higher. Like, I can't physically make myself buy these tenths because I'm like, there's so much in the premium that you're never going to get back.
Yeah, it's
Um,
crazy.
drives me
It's like yeah, it's like buying 12 packs of soda. Like you get the 12 pack for this, or you can get the single one for this
Yeah.
huge markup. Yeah,
For the same amount as the 12 pack, but you don't have to carry the 12 pack around.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The other day I did a kind of spring cleaning in my office, and I'm like, well, maybe I should go one more look for that gold, that 1/10 gold coin, and I can't find it. It's gone.
Have you considered what will gold show up on a metal detector?
Yeah, maybe I don't have a metal detector.
Well, I was just thinking, A, why don't you? It feels like something you would totally
We
have.
used to,
And
we
if
used
not,
to,
you
but
should do.
we no longer do.
But yeah, I can't because I know it's not magnetic. So, but I don't remember if metal detectors work off of magnetic field or if they're like what the science is in the
I
metal
would think
detector
that
to
they would
know if they're
have that they should, because like every what's that one show where they're on that island, they're trying to dig up that pirate treasure and stuff. They're using metal detectors for that.
yeah. There's got to be
So it
something.
has to. Yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm sure someone will fact check us on. John,
Yeah. Kaylin is talking about the breakable bars. Yes, those are very cool. I have a couple of those.
those are the Canadian
Um,
prepper ones.
yeah, exactly. They're
Yeah,
like little
they're like
cards, and they
Kit Kats for for gold.
exactly, and you can break them up into tenth of an ounce or
Yeah.
grams or whatever. There's lots of different versions, but those are
Welcome to
very
John
cool.
Collins. It sounds like Milton is messing with it timing.
Yes, yeah. It's I mean, yeah. Milton's messing with everything, so timing
Yes.
in general. I mean,
Yeah.
totally.
Okay. John,
totally.
he fact checked us. It's a yeah. Metal detectors.
I'm so glad John was here. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
John,
I mean, again,
where have you been for the last 25 minutes? We could have
yeah,
used you on so many questions.
we've been looking for answers, and we got it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And yet, and Kaylin, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is why we have shows to facilitate the chat room. The chat
Yeah.
room is where it's at, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, because I think everyone that's on the beach with their metal detectors looking for coins and stuff, or
Yeah,
they're looking for gold too. So.
yeah, exactly. I would think so. But all
Yeah, but
right. Well, it
some of the like the flooding stuff. I don't know if any thoughts on that, like for like in North Carolina, and so these videos I saw were just crazy.
oh yeah,
I've
this
done
is
over the
super high
years. I've
water.
done different preps for like tsunamis and floods and stuff. It was so fast on some of these things. I was questioning, would my preps even do anything for this? Pretty
Yeah,
nuts.
I think that what I've seen a lot of like foam insulation and the spray stuff. Why Flex Seal? That's like the spray rubber. So like putting down the spray foam and then putting Flex Seal on top of that,
Hmm.
or putting they make like a tape Flex Seal now that's specific for flooding.
Wow.
I saw some people try to do it. Some of them were less successful than others. Some of them were like on French doors, which I think could be a problem in general. Like that latch is probably not meant to hold that much weight, regardless of how much flex seal you put on. Um, so I think I've seen a lot of that. I saw they had this wall thing for the Tampa. I think it was the Tampa hospital, or no, it wasn't. Maybe it was Tampa. It was a hospital in Florida, and they had like a wall that they built to hold out water. And it literally like the flood went around this hospital.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I saw the kind of the reusable sandbags where they stack flat and then you get them wet and they expand and turn into like a
Yeah.
sandbag, and then when you let them
Those are
dry,
pretty cool. But
those are
yeah,
pretty cool.
I have a lot of that stuff. But when I saw some of the videos, I'm like, man, I'm not. You can't prepare for a lot. Some of these things that we're
Oh
seeing.
yeah,
Like, and we have prepper channels and stuff, and been talking about it for years. But then I was just, oh man, that wouldn't have worked. So it's pretty. You can
I mean
only
the
prepare
movie's called
only
A
so
River.
much for sure.
The movie's called A River Runs Through It, not A River Runs Around It.
Yeah,
Like if a river is going to flood and like it doesn't matter, it's going through everything. Like that's just
yeah,
I think what's going to happen short of industrial level, concrete metal deflector walls and rerouting things. But And
Yeah.
it was taking whole
So
houses. It was taking
some of this prepper stuff is just for personal peace of mind, but when when as SHTF were to happen, if there's a good chance that none of this will work. So
oh yeah.
uh, yeah, so I feel real bad for all the folks I've seen that've been impacted.
Well, and I think too that's where the evacuation stuff comes in. And
Yeah,
I've seen a few posts about people who, you know, can't can't afford to escape, can't, aren't able to evacuate or whatever. And I think there's a conversation to be had about what that whole situation could be or look like. But if you can evacuate and
yeah,
somebody's saying, "Hey, get out of here," like I am not one to be like, "I'm gonna hang out with the," I'm gonna hold, like we are out of here.
yeah. I think for like flooding and like fires and stuff, like wilderness fires and things, like you gotta evacuate. That's a bug out
Yeah,
scenario. So I think the bug out thing is still like probably a good investment. Some of like there's some bug in scenarios though that no matter how much you do, it's mother nature and stuff could be pretty intense.
yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, Jack
Um,
Schaff said Mother Nature always wins. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Mother Nature and Father Time always win.
yeah,
Um,
undefeated.
yeah, undefeated. All right, so it has been a half an hour. Preppy Prepper needs to head for
Prepper.
home.
I'm,
He's had a long day.
I'm doing a modeling shoot for preppers
He has to go put on some sweatpants and
yeah.
get comfy, cozy. And so
Normally
yeah,
I'm business up top and then party below with wearing the undies for these calls. But my camo preppy prepper.
exactly. So no one can see what's under your desk. We
Yeah,
got
no,
it. Okay. Uh, it's just so much. There's so much there.
yeah.
Anyway, everybody. Well, hopefully we will see you next week. We will coordinate schedules.
Yeah, well, I'll have my people talk to your people, and we'll.
As we head next, the next episode is 99, and then we're 100. So
Okay, start game planning.
yeah, exactly. We got to figure this out. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. If you're in the Southeast, be safe.
Yeah,
We're thinking about you. And if you're not in the Southeast, take a moment to make sure that you are as prepared as possible for whatever may be heading in your direction in the next several months, because there's always something, it seems like. So,
yeah.
all right, we'll see y'all later.